Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Complete Sports Media's podcast. I'm your host, Darren Campbell. And of course, coming to you on a Monday to do a great weekend wrap up of sports and a preview look ahead to the great week. Jason Cameron. Hey, buddy. How are you? Fresh off a nice weekend, I assume?
Yeah, no, the weekend was great. Doing good. Was able to see some friends of ours on Saturday
Nice.
and visit with them, have some dinner. It was good. It was good.
That's great. Yeah, good to hear. Yeah, I had a friend in town as well. Him and his girlfriend came down from Penticton, and him and I got to go golfing on Friday, and then we went out for dinner to the keg last night down in Yaletown, rooftop patio, which was great. And yeah, really good to have him in town. Nice to see him. He doesn't get into town too often, so he's here for about 5 days. I think I'll get one more chance to see him. We were gonna go golfing tomorrow, but it's supposed to be raining, so we just kind of skipped it. We'll just go for lunch instead. But yeah, super great to have Corey around and getting a chance to hang out with him a bit.
Oh, that's awesome. That's cool. And it's funny, the one time where you want to go golfing is the one time it's going to rain this summer. That's
Yeah,
about it.
yeah, I know Murphy's Law. Yeah, that's always the way. It's like, oh, great. Yeah, we've had such a long stretch. I was shocked that it was going to rain today. I was like, oh yeah, really? Okay. I guess we need it, but it's still not really a welcome sight.
No, we definitely need it. And
Yeah.
yeah, but it still feels pretty foreign. The funny thing is today with the rain, it didn't really rain that much, though,
No,
did it?
no,
It's
no. It
it's
was,
sprinkled, and that's
yeah,
about it.
yeah. There's so many different terminology for rain, but this was sprinkles a good word. Yeah, it was just very super light, but I think it's gonna be, yeah, I think we're gonna get a little bit. I just hope it pushes its way into the interior. They're getting the fires going. I heard there's a big one right outside of Kamloops that's threatening a lot of homes and stuff, and then there's another one in maybe Terrace or something. There's a few. They said about 450 fires all over, but a couple that are threatening towns and cities up there. So that's something we're having to deal with so much more now in the summer. I just hope they can get some rain to push it back.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. The rain is always the best thing for forest fires. Like all we need would be for it to rain for like a week straight.
Yeah,
Then that's it. Done.
yeah,
but unfortunately, the way the weather patterns go lately, because there's no such thing as global warming. Um, yeah, rain seems to be in short supply during the summers now.
yeah.
Very short supply.
Well, unfortunately, it also seems like it comes on and off the ocean, hits our
Yeah.
mountains, dumps, and then just doesn't keep going. So they don't get it into the interior for months, and then it gets so dry, and they'll get a storm, lightning, and there'll be lightning strikes, just starting fires. There's obviously always stupid people, setting fires and stuff out there by mistake or whatever, but yeah, it's something that's brutal. I actually saw Greece. They said it's the largest forest wildfire they've ever had there. They were having to evacuate people. People were just barely escaping with their lives, trying to get on boats and planes. And holy shit, it was really brutal there. I think it was worse than anything we've ever seen here.
Wow, I didn't even know that. Like they literally had to escape by sea.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Wow.
No, it looked pretty bad, really bad. And I guess many countries, Australia was devastated a couple years ago, almost their entire forest burned down. And then I guess a lot of countries in Europe are suffering just like we are. And we're not tuned into the news on a daily basis like some people are. We're more sports guys, but it's the words getting out that yeah, global warming is really happening, and holy shit, fires are all over the place. I'm not sure what they're going to be able to do about it, but it just seems like it's a yearly thing in the summer.
Yeah, it's a definitely a yearly thing. And you know what? We are gonna do something about the global warming. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna do what we've always done. Ignore
Right?
it.
Yeah, Yeah, I could see that happening. Yeah, that's the way we've been pretty much ever since. So, yeah, I wanted to chat about the weekend. Man, I guess the biggest sports news, in my opinion, over the weekend was the debut of Lionel Messi to Miami. He finally debuted there after signing the massive deal to come over to MLS. He got an opportunity in the 94th minute, 4 minutes into extra time, had a free kick, struck an absolutely amazing ball that curved, you bend it like Beckham, as they say, went into the top left-hand corner of the net, securing the win for Miami, and the place went wild. There were so many stars there. There was so much hype about it, and he delivered in an incredible fashion. I saw Beckham wiping tears out of his eyes. He was so emotional, finally getting his buddy over there, and it was to me it was the biggest story of the sports weekend, and pretty cool that he was able to score the winning goal in dramatic fashion in his debut.
I thought to myself, you can't write it any better than that.
No.
Because okay, so but you're gonna have to correct me if I'm wrong, because I might be. Did he get subbed in at the end just to do that free kick?
Not at the end. I think he came in on the, I think they said 71st minute he came in. So he was in for a little over 20 minutes when he scored, but
Okay.
he wasn't starting. I think he's trying to get acclimatized to the team, to their tactic strategy. Maybe, maybe he hasn't been playing for a bit. So, but he came in pretty late and was able to get that, though. It was pretty impressive.
Yeah, no, because I saw that, right, and I go, so I guess he's not good enough to start. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, right.
That's the only thing that went through my mind. I'm like, so he can't start? Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah, I think there was some people that were saying, "What the hell? Why is he coming off the bench?" Like, nobody that's that talented does that off in the NBA. Nobody
Yeah,
does that
yeah,
that's that talented in other sports. They're starting, but no, they wanted to ease him in, I guess, and
yeah.
make sure he was fresh for this push. And I guess it worked out. He was in
Did.
there to score that winning goal, and it was incredible to see the reaction from just so many stars, and just the Miami faithful that has been behind this team, to see Beckham be able to bring this guy over. Beckham, when he signed his deal with the Galaxy, they gave him a player option at the end of his career to get this expansion team. I don't know if I mentioned that last week, but
Oh,
they said, as part of your contract to come to MLS, we will give you the first right to get an expansion team wherever you'd like. And he chose Miami. And so he is the owner of that team. And they showed a Twitter post from Messi when he got that announcement and when he secured Miami as the expansion team. Messi said, "Hey, congratulations, my brother. Way to go. Maybe one day I'll come and play with you and or for you." And so I guess he called him this offseason and said, "Okay, I want to cash in on that and bring you over." And the details of his contract came out over this past week, and it's worth 1.6 billion at today's current value, and it's going through 2025, and he has a player option to go through 2026. It works out crazy amount of money. His contract, what he makes as the player is like between 125 and 150 million, but his ownership stake is currently right now worth $585 million, and the MLS, franchises are only getting more valuable all the time, and especially when guys like him come over. And then he's also got a big portion of this Apple TV sponsorship deal that the MLS did, and he gets some percentages of their MLS sponsorships as well. So it's $1.6 billion that he's expected to collect by the end of this contract. It's absolutely incredible.
And the contract you said only goes up to 2025 with an option to go to 2026. So literally the contract is only 2 to 3 years. So he
Yeah,
makes 500 million a year. No, sorry. Well over 500 million a year.
yeah,
You want to really break it down. Oh, that's pretty cool.
yeah.
That's pretty cool. Pretty cool, man.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing, and a lot of people were criticizing him, saying that why was he turning down more money with Saudi Arabia, where Cristiano Ronaldo went over to Saudi Arabia and he signed a deal. His deal was I got the details here, 2.5 year deal, was worth about $550 million US, and they broke it down. He gets $7.75 million a month. He gets $4.43 million a week. He makes $633,000 a day on that contract. And so he's been trying to get people to come over to the Saudis. He signed with a team called Al Nasser, and he's been recruiting tons and tons and tons of guys. He's also pulling in about 90 million a year in endorsements, and they expect that to probably double by the end of this contract. It's only 2.5 year deal, and he's pulling in like 550 million. But when they suddenly showed Messi's deal, it was like, no, this is better. This is more money. He's probably making way more money than Ronaldo. It's pretty insane.
I'm surprised. I'm
Yeah.
surprised that Messi's deal is making so much more than Ronaldo's deal. Like pretty much 3 times as much, right?
Watching it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Insane.
it's absolutely insane, shocking. To me, that just signifies, I guess, the Saudis don't have as much money as we thought they did.
Well, the Saudis today made an announcement. They're going after Kylian Mbappe. They're trying to pull him out of PSG, Paris Saint-Germain. They are offering him $776 million. They have to pay Paris Saint-Germain $332 million just to get the rights to bring him over. And so it's working out to be a $1.1 billion deal over. I think it's about 3 years. I think like that. So 1.1, maybe it's about 2.5, the same as what Ronaldo's is. But Jesus, just amazing money for these soccer players, these football players that are coming over to different leagues, and the Saudis, they're spending billions of dollars, but it's pretty awesome to see that North American teams can compete with the Saudi money and say, hey, no, we want Messi, we got him, and too bad for you.
Yeah, it's great to see that they can actually compete in terms of money.
Yeah,
they can say, "Oh, you guys got money." Well, we got money too. We got money too, so we can do the same thing. I'm curious to see what I would imagine Mbappe's not going to take the deal, but I wonder how much it would take for him to take the deal. You know
yeah.
what I mean? Where he just goes, 780 million is pretty good, but you know what's better? Billion and billion plus.
Yeah.
Billion plus.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, he might be able to ask for more. Yeah, that would be ballsy, but
Oh yeah,
yeah,
I know. Because like, all right, because like he's in the prime of his career right now.
yeah,
So taking him away from that to go into another league that's not as good as the league he's currently in, would it be worth it for him? Right,
yeah.
like for his legacy and everything else. Like basically for him to just go away for a couple of years into the Saudi league and be like, all right, I'll give you 3 years of my time, make a ton of money,
Yeah.
and then go back.
Yeah, it's strange. You're right. That league is, way less league than the league he currently plays in. It's just, it's definitely not. It's crazy because there's definitely not a lot of people that are watching that league worldwide.
Yep.
Maybe it starts drawing a lot of eyeballs there, but the quality of the league throughout is just, a lot less. And so, does his soccer skills diminish a little bit when he's playing in, a poor league with a lot of poor type of players. And you're right, a legacy is important to a lot of guys. When you're talking about 600 million, even more, whatever. I don't know. I don't know if money's more important or legacy is more important. I guess we'll start finding out.
Exactly. Like we'll find out exactly what's more important. Actually, we're gonna find out what's more important for a lot of these guys coming
Yeah.
up, because we found out with the golfers what's more important for some of the golfers,
Yeah.
right?
True. Yeah. Totally. We did. Yeah.
So
Well, Tiger Woods supposedly turned down 700 million to go over to Live Golf.
yeah,
That's the figure that was thrown about, and we never heard from him on the reason why he didn't, why he decided to turn down the money. I heard some guys today talking on the Golf Channel, and they think he turned it down because his physical limitations are so great now that he just wouldn't be able to produce and he wouldn't be able to play, at the high level that he wants to because of the injuries that he's suffered and things. But I don't really know if that was, the case, but it would be nice to find out at one point why he turned down 700 million to move over there.
yeah, it would be nice to find out why he did that. I don't know if Rory's been on record to say why he didn't take it either.
No,
But
no,
because like,
Rory actually says they never made him an offer, and I don't.
oh,
Yeah,
really?
yeah, I don't know if it's because they knew that he wouldn't take it already. They knew his viewpoint on the rival league, but so he says nobody ever offered him a dime, and if they would have, he would have told him to f right off. But he said, nobody ever came towards me and offered me a contract there.
You know what? See, now if I'm Rory, I'm even more insulted. Not only now do I have to play for you guys, you never even offered me a contract. You know, like that's like doubly insulting now. But yeah, with Tiger just turning it down, I would super be interested knowing why he did that. Like if
Yeah,
there's some sort of moral thing, that's why he felt the need not to do that.
yeah,
Even though now, as we go forward, it looks like that's actually not going to be detrimental that he didn't get his money, because it looks like he's going to get his money. So one way or another now with the
yeah.
amount of both.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah. Supposedly the PGA is going to make right to the guys that didn't decide to leave. They're going to, offer them some good payouts and some ability to say thank you for sticking with the PGA Tour and stuff. And I assume we'll hear the details of that at some point. What kind of money they're talking about. But when you're talking about guys that level, who knows, if 100 million even moves the needle in their brain. 100 million here, 100 million there. Tiger Woods endorsement deals have always dwarfed his salary. He was always making more money off the course than he ever was on the course. So, he did lose some, big sponsors and endorse, some big products that he was endorsing through some of the, scandals and things he's had. But the guy was still pulling in hundreds of millions of dollars a year in endorsement deals.
Exactly. You know, like for us, we look at that like that's a lot of money. For him, he's like, yeah, it's kind of
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it's not something that's necessarily going to move heaven and earth for me, because I already have heaven and earth money.
exactly. Yeah, I was hearing there was a poll that came out this past week about social media money and who moves the needle the most there. So if you endorse a product, let's say through the Kardashians, the Jenners, they're on this list, and if they open a box and pull out an item and say, "Hey, I love this thing," they get between $1 million and $2 million just for doing that. And Ronaldo is, I guess, the highest paid social media influencer. If he holds up a product and says they like it, they have to pay him 2.3 something $1 million just for him to just say, "Hey, check this out. I love this stuff," and try it out, And so his Instagram following is 472 million or something like that. And It's just that many people he's reaching anytime he touches a product.
That's ridiculous. So he's got to have one of the highest like subscriber counts
By
on
far.
social media. Period. Like by far.
By far, yeah.
Because I don't know of anybody else that has 500 million people following them.
No,
Like pretty much. I don't.
no. No, I think LeBron has about 50 million. Tom Brady has, I think the number was like 14 million. Every MLS team combined has like less than 18 million. And, so a guy like Ronaldo, yeah, he appeals to men and women, and he's just being able to push his popularity on social media, just astronomical heights that I don't think anybody ever saw and ever thought that, just holding up a thing saying, hey, try this watch. Boom. Okay, that'll be $2.5 million, please. Like, that's pretty incredible.
I wonder if when he officially gets to 500 million, does he go, oh yeah, by the way, the sponsorship deal is now up to 5 million. So now you got to pay me 5 to do this, or
Yeah.
else I won't do it.
I think we talked about on the podcast, like during the World Cup, when he sat down at the podium and just moved the Coke cans or Coke bottles off to the side, and the value of the stock plummeted like $1 billion overnight just because he did that.
Which is just ridiculous because he's just like, no, I'm literally, it's not like I'm saying I don't like the product. I'm just moving to clear space. That's all I'm doing.
Yeah.
That's all I'm doing. I think
That's
that's
insane.
hilarious.
It's insane that it could move that. It could just create such a change in a business just by just sliding something out of the way. It's unbelievable.
It is unbelievable. It's unbelievable that he has that amount of cachet now.
Yeah.
Like that he has that amount of power, which is what all the corporations see. That's why they're willing to pay him that much
Yeah.
from the push their product.
I'm torn. I want to talk so much more about the weekend, but I'm excited so much about this fight that's coming up this week. So should we talk about the fight and then sort of do more of a weekend wrap up? What do you think?
Let's do the fight.
Yeah.
Okay,
Nice. Well, we are just days away from one of the most anticipated boxing fights that we've ever seen in our lifetime. Definitely since 2015 when Mayweather Pacquiao fought. This is something that has taken a long time to put the pen to paper and make work, but finally getting to see a super fight, going to see Errol Spence Jr. at 28-0 with 22 KOs fight Terence Bud Crawford 39-0 with 30 knockouts. The two meet inside the T-Mobile Arena in Vegas this weekend. All four belts are on the line. This will be first time in a very long time that all four belts will be around one guy's body, waist, shoulders. And it's something that I've been super excited for, but it just started feeling like maybe it never will happen. But finally, Saturday, we're going to see it. Your thoughts and your excitement level of coming into this fight?
Okay, because that now that I think about this fight, the fact that it even came together, I think there had to be a sacrifice on one of the fighters' parts.
Right.
Like I believe Terence Bud Crawford let go of his marketing team to go with another team because they failed in making this fight happen in the first place.
I see.
So the new team came together and made this fight happen because he was just like, it has to happen. Like, I love the fact that he was adamant about the fact that this fight had to happen because he's not like a calculated guy like a Floyd Mayweather, which is I'll only fight this guy once this guy's past his prime. Then I know I can take him, right?
right.
Because that's what Floyd
does.
Very
smart. Yeah, Floyd was always thinking about the money and legacy, and just definitely didn't want to put the undefeated record at too much risk.
Exactly, right? But I like the fact that Bud is just like, no, man, fights like this have to happen when we're both at our prime.
Yeah.
So that so that now we know exactly where we both are, because once this fight happens, it's like, well, one of us is going to win and one's going to lose, but we're both going to fight when we're at our peak, at our best.
Right.
And that's what fans always want to see. So I'm just elated that they actually got the deal done and that the fight's going to happen and that we're going to see who is going to be at the top of the mountain when it's all said and done.
Yeah.
Like, and I would dare argue that whoever wins this fight, you could say, put a bow on it, they're pound for pound the best.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think there's no way you can dispute that and just say that's it. Yeah, they've become the best boxer in the sport and pound for pound. They're 33 and 35. Spence is 33, Crawford's 35. That's prime. Is that prime to the people that don't follow boxing? You know, is that prime still?
Okay, you could say that Bud's a little bit getting older, but at the same time, since both of them haven't lost, I'll
Yeah.
say it's prime.
Yeah. All right.
It might be somebody's near the end of their prime, but they're still in their prime. All
Yeah.
right. And like I said, they both haven't lost, so I'm gonna say it's their prime. And I'm going to say that this is one of the biggest fights that we've had in years.
Yeah.
Years.
Yeah.
Like this is about as would you say this is probably about as big as Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder won first
Yeah.
time?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Yeah. I think it's maybe surpasses it in some way, just because of how long it's been anticipated. Wilder was known, I guess, locally here because he kept knocking guys out, but
Yeah.
I don't think he was that global guy,
Yes.
like these two. And Fury had went through some tough times where you weren't sure if he was going to fight again. So you weren't really anticipating it as much as we've been thinking about Spence Crawford for, like 4, 5, 6 years. We've been waiting for these guys to finally get together.
Yeah, that's true. We have been waiting for a long time, and then we got teased last year, and then nothing really happened from it. And you're
Yeah.
just like, all right, well, I guess this is like one of those promotion things where it's just never going to happen. And I get great. That's awesome. I, by the way, I absolutely hate it when that happens. I hate that. I hate it when the promotions can't get together because like have beef or whatever, or they're just like, my fighter's better than your fighter, so he's got to have more money or whatever, right? Like I hate that. Because somebody has to make a concession. Like if you want this fight to really happen, you want to figure out who the best is,
Yeah.
then there has to be a concession somewhere along the lines. Because even if let's say this, you're the one fighter that gets paid less, all right, well, just go in there and then beat him up.
Sure.
All right.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like,
yeah.
And now that I get paid, and it's like, well, guess what? I'm not going to be one that takes less next time. It's like,
Yeah.
that.
Well, that's one. There are a lot of flaws in boxing. It's one of the
Right.
reasons why mixed martial arts in the UFC has started to surpass boxing in North America and many other places around the world. Because these super fights were always so tough to put together, and by the time they usually were put together, the guys were way past their prime, and the market wasn't as excited about it anymore. So. Another thing with 4-belt era, 4 belts, it's watered down. It's like, oh, who has what belt and what, who's the guy? And there's just too many weight classes, too many weight divisions. This one's at 147. Why 147? Why did boxing at some point say, yeah, I think 147's welterweight? like that seems like such an arbitrary, weird number. UFC, every weight class, every category, it's all established and it's and there's one champion, and it's just so much better than how boxing has sort of diluted itself like that.
Yeah, but also too, like you could argue too, the dilution of boxing has happened because it has a longer history, right? It's had longer time to develop. Because there's still, you could say there's still a problem with MMA, because I still think that between some of the weight divisions of 170 to 185, that's too big of a gap.
Right.
There should be actually something in between that. just like there should be something in between 185 and light heavyweight, which I believe is 215. Should be
205.
something in between
205.
that. 205, sorry.
Yeah.
205. So there should be something in between that too, because there's now a 20-pound difference between 185 and 205, right?
Right.
So there should be something there. It's not perfect,
No.
but like it's something that they're working on. But again, going back to the fight, I'm just glad that it's happening. I'm glad that we're going to get to see some incredible amount of violence, technical violence as well, for like 12 rounds. Because I have a sneaking suspicion this goes all 12. I don't think any of these guys are getting knocked out, but it's gonna be like a battle.
Yeah. Do you think Spence has any type of advantage because he's spent his entire career at 147? Crawford has moved up. This is his third weight division, and has constantly had to just keep moving up. He's captured belts in all those divisions, but does Spence have an advantage? Just always over 11 years fighting in the welterweight 147.
I think he might have a slight advantage because like he's used to the weight, he's used to the power, he's used to all of those things, which Crawford is not. But at the same time, there's certain boxers that are able to carry their power going up divisions. A perfect example of that was Manny Pacquiao as he did his rise. Yeah. So as long as his power translates, then he should be good to go. But you never know. You never know. It's his first time fighting in the division, so you never know how it will affect you until you're in there. Because I think even Lomachenko hit a barrier where he got to fight. I think it was Teofimo Lopez, and it was almost as if that was his barrier. Like that weight, getting up to that weight, couldn't go past that because like that was his limit.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we've seen fighters just keep trying and just not being able to fight, a little bit higher than they should. They just can't carry that kind of weight, or the power's not there, that type of thing. So, you mentioned Mayweather Pacquiao. It's the biggest fight in history according to pay-per-view. According to what I saw out there, I was shocked that every bar, every place. I watched it at a casino, and I could just I heard way more hype about it than I'm hearing about this one. Why aren't we hearing as much hype and as much bravado as that Mayweather Pacquiao, which was two guys that were fighting way past their prime, like two of the greatest of all time, but 5, 6, 7 years past when they should have fought. This one is two guys where you say they're in their prime. I can't believe that I'm not seeing it, hearing it everywhere, everyone talking about it.
I think it's because they don't have the name. Their names are not out there like Pacquiao's and Mayweather's were cemented. Like I think it's that. Like for boxing fans, everybody knows exactly who those two are. But for the casual fan, you may not know exactly who those people are whatsoever.
Strange.
Right? Yeah. But with Mayweather and Pacquiao at that point in time, because they've been boxing for so long, that even the casual fan had an idea of who those two were. Sure. And I think that's what the difference is between that fight and this fight now.
I think the glory days of the welterweight division had some of the best fighters of all time. I always remember the Sugar Ray Leonard, Tommy Hearns battle, and it seemed to just permeate the whole entire world. It wasn't just the boxing world, like you just mentioned. It was the entire world. Everybody was looking forward to seeing, Sugar Ray against a Hitman. That goes back to the 80s. In the 90s, we saw Oscar De La Hoya rise this division up super, super much. And I think the fight late 90s where he fought Felix Trinidad, that's where it sort of reached its epic power of this division. Where do you think this fight slots into the welterweight history?
It should be right up there. I think it definitely in the top 10. Possibly, I won't say top 5 yet until the fight happens. Because once the fight happens and the fight is absolutely magnificent, a masterpiece, then it goes top 5.
Right.
But I'll say top 10 from now because the fight hasn't happened yet. But once the fight happens, depending upon how both guys perform, it might be a top 5 thing once
Yeah.
it's all said and done.
They've got an automatic rematch. It clause in both sides of the contract. It's automatically happen. What does that do? How does that change anything for this? Does it make it? Does it change anything? Does having that automatic rematch change a thing?
No, you know what? It could garner even more interest considering how this first fight goes. Like if the first fight is super close and it's a split decision, and it's a split decision where anybody could have won, or even maybe even better in terms of making more money for both boxers, it's a draw.
Yeah.
So then nothing was definitive. Nobody got any closure. And then all of a sudden, then obviously you have to have another fight.
Right.
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 So it depends. It depends. I think it doesn't change much, but it could excite boxing fans, and other casual fans if the first fight is absolutely like a barn burner, right? And then the second fight, then more people will probably tune in because unfortunately they missed the first fight, so they're definitely not going to miss the second fight.
Yeah. Well, I noticed that in the Fury Wilder, I thought that as it got going and they were able to have the next fight and the next fight, they just those seem to grow and grow and grow.
Yeah.
And you and I went out to see the second one, and I couldn't believe how big it had become. The first one, I think everybody was excited that we're boxing fans, but I think because Wilder had knocked him down and came close to finishing him, and then Fury was able to come back and win. I think it sort of raised the level of consciousness to the rest of the sporting world and people out there.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's exactly what it did. And then also too that people that were Wilder fans were just like, well, he almost had him. So then this next fight, you should have him now, right? And where Fury fans are just like, well, nobody gets up the way that guy did, like the Undertaker. So yeah, I don't think Wilder has a chance, right? And now you have that discussion between fans and everybody else of who's going to do it, and that's what garners interest.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you in a sec who you pick, but with Spence, he has the southpaw style, which is always difficult. He can throw punches and bunches from every angle, every range. He's got an amazing heavy jab, great gas tank, amazing chin. It's been tested before. He is heavy on the pressure. So I'm thinking to myself, well, how does Crawford handle all the aspects of it? So, myself maybe leaning towards Spence, but yourself, where do you think you're? If I give you $1,000 and said you're betting, where would your money go?
I'd probably lean the opposite way, bud. I'd probably go towards Crawford because everything that you just mentioned, I think Crawford has the boxing IQ to negate that somewhat. Okay. Like everything that you just mentioned. Like I think he can fight you any way that you want to fight.
Right.
He can do all of that. If you want to make it nasty, he will gladly engage you and make it nasty. You want to try to fight a distance and try to pick him apart, he will do that too as well. And you'll find out, he's a lot harder to hit than what I thought. Like, it's I believe he can fight Spence any way that he wants. And I think they'll probably, both of them are going to try to fight this fight in many different levels and many different ways to see where they can get an advantage.
Yeah.
Like if they got to clinch up and if they can do some dirty boxing, they're going to do that. They're just going to test each other throughout the entirety of this fight.
I've seen Crawford employ a southpaw style at times, but I feel like when he switches to that side, he seems to not have as great of defense. And I think he's going to try to, mess Spence up with, giving him a lot of different looks. I just feel like, when he does, I think Spence might be able to shift into having that advantage where the defense isn't quite there. I've seen, I feel like Crawford is, one of the most incredible, most talented boxers we've ever seen on the face of the earth. The guy seems to, just put together masterpieces every time he steps into the ring. So, I'm not discrediting him and discounting him. I see Spence with a lot of the pressure, a lot of the things that I've mentioned, maybe getting the advantage if Crawford does switch to that southpaw style to try to change the view, change the angles. Maybe, the advantage might switch over.
Okay, so you're not trying to discredit or
no.
Discount him, right?
No.
But to a certain extent, you are disrespecting. Okay, that's cool. I get it. I understand. Now, what you just said, yes, his defense might be a little bit lacking when he goes to the southpaw style. So, what do you think he's probably been working on this entire time?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Hopefully he's sharpen that up and spend his entire camp or the last few years working on it. I think that would be dumb if they didn't, right?
Exactly, right? Like, because that's what all the greats do, because it's like, I know what I'm great at and I know what I'm weak at. So then I'll just work on my weaknesses so that my weaknesses can now be great as well. So I would imagine that he's probably worked on that, knowing that that's a weakness, knowing that this could catch Errol Spence off guard. So then definitely this is what I'll try to incorporate in the fight. So that's what makes sense to me. But at the same time, you know what? I really got to see it. You got to see it on the day. And it's funny now because you have a great UFC on that night, and then you have this boxing fight on that night.
Yeah.
I think personally for me, I think I might have to watch the boxing this time around.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm leaning towards the boxing, amazingly enough. And I've been hyping up this UFC even before this UFC 289. I'm like, this 292 that's coming up. Holy crap! Look at how amazing it's going to be. And but once I finally realized that it was happening this weekend, I thought, Jesus Christ! No, I'm sorry, it's 291. I was like, I'm more excited about this boxing fight because I've been waiting for it for years. This not a few months, like 291.
Yeah, exactly. We've been waiting for this for years. And then I'm waiting for it for long enough that I gave up. I gave up. I didn't think the fight was going to happen. I gave up on the fight, only to find out it's like, no, fight's happening literally this weekend. It's like, oh, that's amazing. So watch.
Yeah, I think we should get together and watch it. I think that would be a good plan because I don't know of anybody else that would be as excited about it as you will, and it's be nice to watch it with somebody that got a great eye as you and somebody that's been anticipating and watching it. So let's make that happen somehow. Let's try to pull that off and watch it. You're making me question my pick. I don't know if I'm picking Spence. I don't know. I definitely didn't throw any money down, but I love Crawford's length, his speed, his movement. It's to me, it's one of the most difficult predictions. There's a lot of times where I've been like, oh yeah, if both fighters come to the table with everything, this guy's got the advantage, definitely. But this one, I'm really, really not sure exactly what we're gonna see.
I think it's as close to a pick 'em as you get.
Yeah,
it really is. Because whoever you decide to go with is not a bad choice. It's not a bad choice. So I just can't wait to see the fight. I can't wait to see the fight, see how it plays out, see what it looks like, because these guys have been looking at each other for years now, right?
Totally.
And so finally they get to settle it in the ring, which I absolutely love. And on top of that, they'll settle it twice because whoever wins or loses will just go, I don't accept that. Let's do it again.
I know. Yeah, exactly. So Yeah, we're gonna get to see these guys battle it twice for sure in the next year here, and it's gonna be fucking awesome. Something that yeah, I wasn't sure if it would ever come together. I've heard, so many rumors on who backed off a little bit, who was, willing to do some concessions. I'm looking forward to hearing more details once they finally do fight on how it was pulled together. I heard that somebody was um, the two fighters were actually at a Miami Heat game, and
Okay.
they started running into each other, and they weren't like chirping each other like we normally see. And
Yeah.
then I think the CEO of CBS, his name is Les Moonves, decided to come in and say, "Hey, is there any way I can make this fight happen?" And he acted as a middleman and somehow figured it out. And that's the rumor I've heard. I've heard others, but this is the one that I'm sort of leaning towards believing the most.
Okay, well, maybe less was just like, heck, if the Saudis could do it, can't I do it?
Yeah,
Well, like think
yeah,
about it.
yeah.
It's like, man, we got buddy. Like, what this? We can make this happen. Like, so what? Yeah, because like, and I would agree with you. That. Like, that sounds like that would make sense because um he has the reputation to bring these two guys together for me to
Yeah.
say, all right, well, what would make you guys both happy? I'm guessing it's a lot of money, right? And they
Yeah.
both go, yes, obviously it's a lot of money. It's like, well, what if we guarantee both your purses? Like, you make 40 and then you make 40. And then we fight and then somebody makes more.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then they both would probably look at each other like, I think that's pretty good. I feel pretty
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I think I could have pulled it off. I wish I would have ran into them during that basketball game and said,
good.
"All right, let's get in the room. I can do this. Okay, I know what you want. I know what you want. We're gonna figure this out before we walk out of this room."
Exactly.
Reasonable men should have been able to pull this off.
Exactly. Right. Like it just, it's, as long as you're not like asking for something ridiculous, then
Yeah,
yes, anything is, you should be able to negotiate this and both parties should be like fine. They should be actually pretty happy with whatever the outcome is, as long as they're not feeling in any way disrespected. And
yeah.
as long as you get past that part, then you're gonna have yourself a fight, which is what they've done now, gone and done. So
The one part of this story, any boxing fans that are out there will remember this, but in 2019, Errol Spence Jr. flipped his Ferrari, wasn't wearing a seatbelt, was thrown from the vehicle. A lot of speculation that he had suffered some massive serious injuries and possibly was going to die from it. Luckily, he escaped with pretty minor injuries, which really stunned everybody. And, really at the time, I thought, oh damn, that fight's never gonna happen, and it should have. And luckily, somebody was smiling on him enough to, let him escape without serious injuries, and he was able to recover and continue this amazing boxing career.
yeah, he got super lucky. Like especially when you heard that he wasn't wearing a seatbelt. Like for me, I'm like, well, if he got ejected through through the windshield, which probably could have happened or did happen because I don't know the exact things what happened, but you go through the windshield, you can break your neck. Or
Yeah,
then once you go through the windshield and you hit something else that's like out there,
yeah,
then you can just destroy your body. So he got so lucky that he got thrown from the vehicle and then he was probably able to walk away under his own power. Like, what are you talking
incredible.
about?
Yeah,
It's
incredible.
incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing that I remember hearing about was that he got all his teeth knocked out. I'm like, well, that's good for a boxer,
Yeah, that's not a big deal.
That kind of doesn't matter much, yeah. And then when he had his detached retina in 2021, he was supposed to fight Manny Pacquiao, and then they realized that that fight couldn't happen because of his retina getting detached. That's always super serious with boxing, and career threatening there too. So he's had to overcome a ton of stuff to make this fight ever get together.
Yeah, he's had to overcome quite a bit, and luckily he has overcome quite a bit so that we can now have this fight
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't wait. It's gonna be fun. We'll have to do it Saturday, figure out a way. So okay, we started off the show talking about Messi with Miami. Locally here, the Whitecaps were playing in it's called the Leagues Cup. They were playing against the defending champion Leagues Cup champs. They're called Leon. They are from Mexico. The Whitecaps put up a good show. They were up 2-1 at some point. Cordova had scored both goals. Unfortunately, gave up the game tire late in the match, and then it ended up going into a shootout, and they had the longest shootout in any professional soccer history, from what they've been saying. 19 rounds of a shootout. It's only supposed to go 5, and then boom, you get a winner. But they kept tying, kept scoring. Leon ended up winning it. They scored 16 out of the 19 chances. The Whitecaps only got 15, and they won it. It was insane watching it, man. Oh my God, you couldn't believe it. Like, so much drama. They're only allowed to have guys to take the shootout that are on the field when the play finishes. So they got 11. Even the goalies shot against each other as the 11th guy, and then they had to start again from the opening order. Yeah, it was one of the neatest things I ever saw. So much drama, and I couldn't believe it. Just kept going on and on and on and on, and it was right here in our town. It was pretty neat.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool that actually happened here in BC.
Yeah.
So now as a trivia question, we come up. It's like where was the soccer game with the longest shootout? It's like, oh no, it was right here in Vancouver, BC.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Because I know I definitely have never heard of that before. 16, what did you say, 19 rounds?
19 rounds, 19, yeah. Yeah,
wow.
It was awesome to watch, yeah. Lorraine wasn't as happy because she was wanting to watch a movie, and it was like, what? Another one. It was totally amazing. Yeah, but I was thrilled. The following night, the BC Lions had a home game against the Saskatchewan Roughriders, improved their record to 5-1 atop the Western Conference. Unfortunately, they lost their number one quarterback. He went down with a knee injury and looks to be out for a while. Vernon Adams got hurt. The backup Dane Evans came in, wasn't very good. Got to give him a pass because he wasn't expecting to play, obviously, but they did actually pull out a win. It was ugly, 19-9 the score was, but still rolling along, Lions. Hopefully Vernon is not out too long, or that could really hamper them, but nice to see BC plays, full for the Whitecaps, then full for the Lions. Big weekend under the big top there in downtown.
Yeah, that's cool. And that's cool that the Lions are 5-1, so they're off to a blistering start. Hopefully they can keep that up until their number one quarterback comes back into play.
Yeah.
And what's the second string guy's name? Adams?
Evans. Yeah.
So hopefully Evans can keep the ship afloat until the other guy can come back.
Let's hope, yeah. Another big weekend down in Seattle, the All-Star game and the festivities there last weekend. This weekend, the Blue Jays entered town. Last year, you were there enjoying the Blue Jays and Mariners. They packed the house again. There was maybe 10,000 Mariners fans and about 35,000 Blue Jays fans, and it was great to see. Unfortunately for Jays fans, Mariners won the first 2 games. The Jays ended up stopping the sweep from happening yesterday and pulling out the victory. But great. I watched all the games, and really great to see so much support down there. And it's fun. You had a blast when you went down there, right?
Oh, no, I absolutely had a blast and ended up meeting people that we knew from here down there. And it was quite the party. It was quite the party. It was a great time, and uh, the Mariners baseball field still as great as what it once was, even when I went there a decade ago.
Yeah.
Still fantastic.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah. Taylor Swift played there on Sunday night. So massive, massive crowd down at Lumen Field, right next to T-Mobile Park there. And yeah, it was a incredible amount of things. I heard that not one hotel room was available, no Airbnbs. The whole entire place was filled to the brim over the weekend there. So it must have been a great party down there.
Oh yeah, it would probably be awesome. Awesome. Actually, now that I think about it, one of my good friends went down there because his wife is a huge Taylor Swift fan. So they made the boast of both worlds, best of both worlds. She went to the concert. He went and saw the Blue Jays game.
Oh, perfect. Wow. Yeah, that's a good compromise.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
Nice. Wow. Yeah, that must have been a fun time down there. Right now, one of the biggest things in the world of soccer is the Women's World Cup taking place in Australia, New Zealand. Team Canada played their game the other night and unfortunately had a 0-0 draw against Nigeria, who they were expected to beat. My sister, my brother-in-law, and my niece and nephew were at the game in Melbourne, Australia. They were sending me pictures and texting me. I was very thrilled and excited they were able to be there waving their flags for Canada. And it wasn't against Australia, so they could cheer for Canada. And I really wish Canada would have won. The captain, Christine Sinclair, the local girl from here, she had a penalty shot attempt in the second half. And unfortunately, the goalie guessed right, dove to her left and saved the shot on Sinclair, and they were unable to score. I was just blown away how it would have been incredible to see Sinclair score. She's the highest scoring women soccer player in the history of the sport, and it would have been so fitting for her as the captain and leading Canada into another World Cup like this to score, but unfortunately, she didn't. They play this Wednesday against Ireland and next Monday against Australia. So hopefully they're keeping at it. Hopefully they can get some victories. But yeah, it's starting to become very big news around here. And hopefully they can do one better than the men did in the World Cup recently as well.
Yeah, hopefully they can do that. And kind of surprised though, I didn't know that Christine Sinclair was still playing. I thought she had retired.
No, yeah, 40, I believe 41, I think now. So, most athletes do retire at that age, but she's still contributing heavily, captain of the team, and the most decorated Canadian female soccer player from here too. Good to see that she's still at it. It's great that she's not retired. She's still going strong.
Well, yeah, and also too, it's good for all the younger players on the team that they can gain from her wisdom and her knowledge. So that is a good thing.
In the world of golf, they had the Open Championship over in England and Liverpool. Brian Harman ended up winning. He had the lead after Friday's round, was able to continue it the whole weekend. He ended up winning by 6 shots. This is an American guy who's only 5'7". He looks really small when you see him on TV when he's playing. He doesn't hit it the shortest among all the guys, but he's still very accurate. Maybe pretty short, but very accurate shots. Great on the green, around the greens. Was able to get a $3 million check for the win. Was able to get a lot of exemptions, capture this trophy. His first major, only his 3rd win in his career. His career has been around about 10 years. And then the top amateur was a young guy from Georgia who was 6'8", and they always honor the top amateur after the round and after the championship. They bring out the top amateur, give him a trophy, and then they bring out the champion. and they were standing next to each other, and you were just like, "Holy cow, this is amazing to see the difference in size between these two guys." But you can't measure a guy's heart. You can't measure his will to win, and he pulled off this victory, and it was life changing, an amazing victory for him.
Yeah. Was he quite far ahead on the scorecards when he won?
Yeah, 6 shots. Yeah, he won by 6. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think I remember hearing this, and then some analyst saying that, well, you know what, he could come back to the field, but I'm sure in his mind it's like, I don't think so, man. I feel pretty good today. I don't think I'm coming back to the field. Actually, I think I'm going to put a stamp on it. Nobody has a chance.
Yeah, yeah. There was a really amazing exchange in the post-fight press conference or the post-game press conference, and he said somebody chirped him after
Oh,
Saturday, and the guy yelled out, "Hey Harman, you don't got the stones for this." And he looked over at the guy and he was like, "Oh yeah, I'll prove you wrong, buddy." And he said it just fueled him. It just made him go, "Yeah, I'll friggin' show you who's got the stones." And yeah, there was a couple times when he got some bogeys and he came back a little bit towards the field, but he would follow it up with a birdie immediately and just keep up there, and was able to just blow away the field. On Sunday, it was ugly there. It was raining super bad. Saturday, it was raining really heavily. It was blustery and not fun golf to play in. And he just kept his head down and just kept playing. And yeah, good on him. It was awesome to watch. Didn't have the drama like a lot of people like, where it's neck and neck between a lot of guys. But nice to see a guy emerge like this and get this career defining win.
yeah, get a career defining win in elements like that,
Yeah.
and also just to shut up his detractors at the same time. It's like, well, because like now he could actually say, what if the weather was actually good? You know how much more I would have
I would
beat
have
everybody by?
slaughtered everybody. Yeah.
Slaughtered.
No kidding. Yeah. Yeah, he's got that in his pocket too. Yeah, that's funny. I wish he would have said that. Would have been fun to hear. Yeah. The F1 happened on the weekend. They were in Hungary. I couldn't believe I saw Terry Crews there. I saw Michael Strahan. I saw a whole bunch of celebrities in Hungary. It was kind of wild. Cheering on, cheering on the guys, and Lewis Hamilton has become a very big favorite among these guys. Terry Crews mentioned how much he's excited about the F1 going to Vegas later on this year. That happens in November, mid-November, and yeah. So anyway, it was great spectacle there. Lewis Hamilton ended up winning the pole, really surprisingly. Immediately, first lap, he gets passed by 3 guys, ended up in 4th place. But Max Verstappen won. He won by 33 seconds at the end, just blew the field away. It was the 12th straight win for the Red Bull Racing Team. That set an all-time record. No racing team has ever won 12 races in a row. Him and his teammate have won all 11 races this year. He's won 9. The other guy, Perez, has won 2. And Red Bull's just crushing everybody. Not even close. People are saying it's boring, but it's pretty awesome to set all-time records and see dominance like this. I think it's something that people will remember forever, just because they have got this 12th win, and I think they have the capability of winning every race in this entire season. I think it's a real possibility.
Has that ever happened? Has that ever happened where one team has won every single race for the entire season?
Yeah, I heard that McLaren had pulled that off one year. Yeah, they won all. I think it was only 17 races back then. I think
Yeah.
now it's up to 24, I believe, so or 22 or 24. So yeah, it has happened once before, but long ago, and on a 17 race schedule, like I say.
Okay, so the possibility is there,
Yeah,
and so that just means that every other team needs to step their game up,
yeah,
because
totally.
it's like Red Bull's smashing you guys right now. Like they're making it so that it's not a competition.
Yeah.
So if you want it to be a competition, you guys got to step your game up. big
Yeah,
time.
totally. Yeah. Yeah. They're really throwing down the gauntlet and saying, hey, come on, people, get with it because we're kicking your ass. And it must be fun to be part of that team because
Oh
they are
yeah.
so dominant. Like it's like half a second every lap. Max Verstappen's better than everybody, and it's pretty impressive. You mentioned going to see Mission Impossible on last week's podcast, so I rushed out this weekend, was able to check it out. I give it about an 8.5 out of 10. I thought it was awesome, action packed. It actually had a lot of funny moments too. The entire audience was laughing at times. I can't believe a guy 61 years old is doing stunts like that. It just blows your mind. And you think, why do you do it? And then you watch a movie like that, and then you think, that's why, because everybody's gonna be like, the guy actually does those stunts for real, you know?
I know.
It's unreal, amazing. They just keep pushing that envelope farther and farther. And when I looked it up his age to just say, how old's this guy again? 61. I'm like, holy crap, that is even that much more impressive.
It is. It is super impressive that he's able to do these stunts at his age, and he makes it look so good, so good, and actually just so much like a professional stuntman would make it look like almost effortless. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but the one thing I did love about the movie, I'm not going to give away too much here, but I did love the AI component of the movie. I loved how they introduced that, and I loved how they just basically said, "So this thing's a problem now."
Yeah.
like in
Yeah.
my mind, I've always thought, what would happen if we had a rogue AI, an AI go rogue?
Right. Yeah.
That movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the movie.
Well, I've heard that some AIs have gone rogue in the last little while, and the humans were able to just say, "Okay, shut it down. It's thinking a little bit more than we wanted it to. It's doing things that we didn't tell it to do, or ever thought that they would figure out." And so,
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, it's it's a future problem in a way, but it's
Yeah.
presently too. So,
Yeah.
it's good when a movie can bring in, those two elements to something that we really got to worry a little bit about.
Yeah, yeah, it's even better when that movie's like, no, no, this is how bad it can actually get. This is how bad it can get. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, that's terrifying. Hopefully, that doesn't happen within the next year or two or five. Hopefully,
Yeah.
fingers crossed.
I kept thinking about Simon Pegg and him being able to be in all these movies. Just a goofy English guy that was in some funny English movies back in the day. Probably the most hilarious zombie movie with Shaun of the Dead, and just really weird movies. And then he ties his career to Tom Cruise, and he's in these massive blockbusters. It's pretty wild to see such a crazy meteoric rise from a guy you just wouldn't have expected to be, one of the key roles in this action series. Incredible.
Yeah, it is incredible because I believe Simon Pegg, like he's a funny dude. So he's kind of like, well, as long as Tom is still alive after doing all these crazy stunts, I'm gonna still keep making money. Hopefully, he never gets hurt or like tragically dies.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's just like because like some of the stunts he does. Like I remember the one stunt for the Mission Impossible where he was hanging outside the 747, which
Right,
by the way, I believe that's the craziest stunt I've ever seen in my life. That
right.
actually somebody that's a named actor said, I want to do that. It's like, well, you're a freaking mind. No,
Yeah.
you're not gonna do that. No, you're not gonna do that.
It's insane. It's insane.
Yeah, it's
Very
insane.
insane.
Right?
Yeah.
So like, and he can do that, and he does it well. So if I'm smart like Ving Rhames and Simon Pegg, I'm just like, hey man, we'll roll with you until you as long as you're still breathing, we're with you. We're with
Yeah. We're in. Yeah. Just keep it up. Don't die,
you.
please.
Don't die. Yeah.
So I was torn. Once you recommended Mission Impossible, I was, it was on my list, but I was also thinking of seeing Indiana Jones. I really want to see that one as well. And I thought those two movies would dominate the box office, but they did not. Do you know what the top two movies at the box office this weekend was?
I'm just gonna guess Oppenheimer and Barbie.
Yep. Yeah. Barbie, what are they calling it? Barbie Hammer weekend. Barbie pulled in 155 million this weekend, but the top one. Oppenheimer was second at I think it was 90 million or let me see. I think I wrote it down. Yeah, I think they were 90 million. So weird, crazy, bizarre. I think I'm interested in seeing Oppenheimer, but Barbie, like, can you believe that it was that massive?
Uh no, because well, obviously, like we're us, right? Although I did for a second there think to myself, it's like maybe he was having a hard choice between Mission Impossible and Barbie. I don't know. Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah,
But
right.
but yeah, no, what? So many people grew up with Barbie. Like
Yeah.
so many of our now, like you could say our significant others, wives would probably want to see something like that,
Yeah.
especially with the fact that who's in it? What's the male? Ryan Gosling's in it. Like
Right.
I had my one friend and his wife was just like, I gotta see that. I go, you gotta see Ryan Gosling. She goes, yes. And then he just rolled his eyes and is like, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, he brings in the women.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, right.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah. Yeah, well, that was the big story of the box office outside, but there was also a lot of anticipated movies that you could watch from home. And the biggest one for me was underrated. And it was underrated. No matter how much it was underrated, the story of Steph Curry, amazing movie. I watched it over the weekend and so great to see. They tied it back so much to his early days, to his Davidson days, and coming even into the league. How many people have doubted this guy, and at every turn just said, "No way, he can't do it. He doesn't have it. No way." And it was so neat to see so many doubters proved wrong. And this movie was great. I recommend it to everybody out there. It doesn't matter if you're a basketball fan or not. Such an awesome, awesome documentary.
Where did you see it on? Netflix?
It's on Apple TV Plus, and Steph said that because he wants everybody to see it, he's making Apple TV Plus free for everyone for 2 months.
What?
Yeah,
You can do that?
yeah,
Wow, that's quite the amount of power that he has. That's pretty cool.
yeah.
I've never even heard of anybody being able to do that for any sort of streaming service. Say, by the way, I want people to see this, so make your stuff free for 2 months. You got it, Steph.
Yeah. Because we have Apple TV, but I wasn't thinking that we had the Plus. I wasn't sure because there's Paramount, Paramount Plus. There's they all got these pluses, and we have some of the pluses, we have some of them not. And I was like, do we have Plus? I couldn't remember. And then I turned it on, and then Plus came up, free. You got it, boom. And I'm like, okay, cool, great. And then I heard that Steph had said, no, you're making it you're making it free for everybody, or you're not. I'm not putting it on your service, and so they said, okay, well, that's what we're doing.
Oh, wow. That's pretty cool, man. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. Very
And
awesome.
how long is it? How long is the movie?
I feel like about an hour and a half, something like that. Yeah.
Okay, good
Yeah.
stuff.
Regular length. Speaking of basketball, I went to see some street ball tournament this weekend in Richmond. It's the 36th annual. They missed a couple years because of COVID, but 36 years they've been running. It's called the Dolphin Classic,
Oh, yeah.
sponsored by a huge amount of big name sponsors across the lower mainland here, and it attracts all the local ball players. It was originally two rival Richmond high schools that competed against each other, and it's grown into something much, much bigger. We went early in the day, left, came back. It was super packed there and attracted a ton of local talent. It was fun, and I'm glad we went. Have you attended before, Jason? Have you ever been?
Long time ago. Like when
Okay.
I say a long time ago, I mean like 20 years ago.
Oh wow. Okay.
Because it's been going on for a long time.
Yeah.
And then I've heard so many. legendary stories. I know that Steve Nash has been in part of the Dolphin Classic. I believe Jamal Crawford's been a part of the Dolphin Classic. There's been some NBA players that have run through there before, for sure.
Yeah, no, it was great. It was a lot of fun. There was a couple things that bugged me a little bit. They had a 3-point shootout contest, and about maybe three of the competitors came out and took the contest in flip flops, and I was like, "What the hell? Like, why would you just not put on normal shoes? Like, you're not gonna win in flip flops, buddy. Like, what are you doing here?" That was pretty weak. For some reason, a girl entered and she didn't even hit the rim once. So that was pretty bad. I was like, you just wasted everybody's time here. What the hell was that? But other than that, I really liked how many people came out, many people wanted to see some local basketball. I've been starved for basketball, and it was nice to get a bit of a fix this weekend, even though there was a few things that were bugging me, but all in all, it was pretty good.
That's good. That's good. Like I know what you mean by being starved for basketball. It was nice that got to see some of the NBA Summer League because that kind of tided me over for a little bit. I did not know that the Dolphin Classic was on this weekend. That would have been nice to check that out. Was that on Saturday? Was that just this past Saturday? Was that when that was on or
Uh,
Sunday?
no, I think it just all took place on Sunday, just yesterday. Yeah, I think it was
Okay.
all yesterday. Yeah, I just think it was a 1 day thing. Yeah.
Okay, so Sunday. Say okay. And then if I'd known for Sunday, I would have been torn. Want to know why? Because Sunday I actually went over to my cousin's place for dinner.
Okay.
So I would have had to pick basketball or dinner.
Right.
I think I know where I would have gone to.
Yeah.
Food.
Yeah.
Gonna
Yeah.
go with food.
Yeah. I figured so. Yeah, you're usually right in there for dinners when they're cooked for you. So yeah, I
Yes.
probably couldn't have torn you away to some basketball over food.
And then on top of that, you know what I did remember to do? My favorite thing whenever I go over to a person's place, I had my Tupperware.
Good, good.
So I
Nice.
have dinner in the fridge right now.
Oh, good. Smart. Yeah, I gave you some Tupperware to utilize that. So,
I used it. I used it. That's the
oh,
one I used.
nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, good. I'm glad my gift keeps on giving. That's nice.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. You know me so well.
Good, yeah. One final NBA note for me. The NBA Board of Governors approved the sale of the Charlotte Hornets, ending Michael Jordan's 13-year tenure as a majority owner of Charlotte. I didn't realize this, but he is staying on as a minority owner.
Oh,
So, yeah, I'm not sure what percentage. I didn't get that information, couldn't find it, but that surprised me. But I'm happy about that a bit.
I'm happy too. I'm happy that he's not completely out of the ownership business. Like
Yeah.
he still has a little piece, even though it's not as big as a piece that he once had. He still has something, so that's good.
Yeah. My final note on just news and notes. I went to a comedy club on the weekend, saw a great comedian. His name is Darius Bennett. Talked to him, and he's going to be a guest on a podcast coming up. He's an LA guy, but he's on a Western Canada tour right now. So I'm going to try to get him between some tour dates, probably in the middle of next week. So, yeah, stay tuned for that. Hilarious guy, Jason. Look him up. Darius Bennett, man, he had us all laughing the entire time. Really witty, really funny, and big up and coming comedian, I think.
Nice, nice, man. I'll be sure to try to tune into that and check him out.
Yeah, nice. Do so. Yeah. Okay, let's get some UFC action. I've been wearing this UFC shirt. Usually we start off the UFC or start off the podcast talking about the UFC. This one we're putting it near the end. But okay, so when I'm watching this is early. Did you watch it live?
I watched. Okay, so because I missed the morning part, so like I missed the prelims, so I watched that on Sunday.
Right.
I did watch four 4 fights from the main card,
Okay.
starting from the ZM fight
Okay.
on. Yeah,
Okay.
so that's what I was able to see.
Okay. Well, it was early, early watching UFC when it's overseas like this is a little tough. Hard to sort of get the juices flowing, really, be as excited about it. But there has been so many great cards from the O2 arena lately, so many great cards from London. There's been such a meteoric rise from, uh, you know, Tom Aspinall, Paddy Pimblett, Molly McCann, so many good UK fighters that I was really starting to anticipate it. And after being at UFC 289 here in Vancouver and all the Canadians that did well and sort of started getting that crowd into it, I thought, okay, this is a must see for me, and I got to watch it live. I was a little bit disappointed. Maybe I don't know if it was just because of the morning or way too many decisions, but it just really wasn't delivering what I was hoping for. Really good result for the UK fans and Tom Aspinall in the final main event, but there was a lot where I was like, I was anticipating it to be a little bit better.
Oh, you know what? It was a hard thing to follow up. Like
Yeah.
if it was gonna be better, right? Because before that, what was the one before that? Okay, because you're probably still thinking of UFC 290, where
Yeah.
you had 4 fights
Yeah.
done within the first minute. All right, like
Right.
there's still a hangover from that.
Yeah.
I thought that you know what, it wasn't bad, so to speak,
Good.
and a lot of the UK fighters really showed out and did well.
Yeah.
But you are right, there was a lot of decisions. But for, like, let's say the most important decision for the main event, well, that did not go to decision. That was actually pretty quick.
Yeah. Tom Aspinall, for him to fight exactly 1 year away from a really brutal knee injury, to be able
Yeah.
to be that main event again and fight a tough guy who's, top 10 fighter in the heavyweight division coming back from such a horrific injury. Great to see him just steamroll him and take him out and put himself into that upper echelon now of guys that might be fighting for a belt within the next year. So good on him. Great way to finish this card for the UK fans, and an amazing result for his career.
Yeah, and he looked absolutely fantastic. It looked like his knee was completely healed.
Yeah.
Like his lateral movement, just his movement period, that's what told me in my, oh, that looks like he didn't rush back
Right.
unnecessarily. Like he's good to go. And he just wiped Tabora out. Like it wasn't close. Like,
No,
wasn't close.
he never
Maybe he
even
got hit.
absorbed he never even absorbed one strike. He did
Yeah,
not absorb one punch, one kick.
right, nothing.
He threw some kicks too, which was great to see off a guy coming off a knee injury.
Yep.
Just steamrolled him and absolutely just crushed him. Great to see him perform so well. And there's always question on, okay, we've seen him fight this competition, he's been good. This competition, he's been pretty good, but now he's stepping up. Is he going to be that great? Fights Blades, and you're wondering, can he handle Blades, who was such an amazing guy at taking people down and submitting them, and boom, he was out of that fight just immediately. So you're like, okay, well, what's going to happen? He was just, much better fighter in this one. Tubura even dropped 15 pounds from his last fight to this one, so you expected, he'd be light on his feet. But the movement that Aspinall was employing was impressive for a guy his size. And, coming off that injury, he looked dynamic in every way he could.
Yeah, he did. He looked absolutely dynamic in every facet. And he made Tabora look like he was stuck in mud.
Yeah.
He just made him look like he was super slow. And even with the fact that he lost the extra weight, I'm like, well, as I'm watching the fight, I'm like, that did you no good
No.
because you're still super slow.
Yeah.
From what I saw in the fight,
Yeah.
like
Yeah, totally.
whatsoever.
So Aspinall ended up calling out the winner between Cyril Gahn and Sergey Spivak. Smart move.
Yes,
Yeah.
I believe that's very, very smart move because the way that he's looking at it is like, all right, Gon and Spivak are going to fight. Doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be the next fight to fight John Jones. So now that he said it that way, now it's almost like he's kind of subtly manipulating the UFC into saying you shouldn't give whoever wins that fight necessarily the next fight to fight the champ. You should get me in there. And I don't think he's wrong in even saying that. Like,
Okay.
because to me, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Get me in there to fight whoever wins that fight. Then we fight. And then whoever wins this fight fights John Jones. And I think he's right. I
Yeah.
think he's absolutely right.
I think personally, I would have said I want the winner between Jones and Stipe Miocic. I think that's what I would have called out. But maybe he wants one tune-up fight before, so he's totally ready. The weird thing is, I've heard the UFC start to talk about both Stipe and John Jones being their last fight, their retirement fight. So I'm not sure if that's the case. We've heard rumors about Stipe making last few fights his last fight, and Jones has been, threatening retirement for years. So I'm not sure, but it was an interesting call out. I heard other people clamoring today for him to fight Sergey Pavlovich, who's on an amazing rise as well. But I think that's a little more dangerous,
Yeah.
So maybe this was the perfect call out.
Yeah, I think it was because and it you could say that it's calculated, right? Because if I'm Aspinall, I'd rather fight one of those two than Pavlovich.
Right.
Easy. Like that. That's an easy no brainer. I'd rather fight one of those two than Pavlovich because as long as I keep climbing up the ladder, anyways, I'll eventually have to fight Pavlovich at some point in time. I just don't have to fight him right now.
Right. Okay. The fans weren't as happy after this one. The co-main event had Molly Meatball McCann against Yulia Stoliarenko. Yulia came in not the greatest record, 10-8, two draws. Molly had impressed the living hell out of that London O2 crowd with two spinning elbow finishes that were as spectacular as you can get. And Molly was the big favorite here, but Stoliarenko loves arm bars. She loves employing them. She loves slapping them on, and she loves twisting arms and nearly breaking them off. Unfortunately, I think Molly McCann is very seriously hurt from this one because the armbar didn't get pulled off soon enough after she tapped, and it was tough. But she should have stayed away from any possibility of it. She didn't. She got caught and she lost.
Yeah. She like slowly got that takedown in the round one. And then McCann looked like she was actually about to reverse out of it. But Julia still had a grip on her arm.
Yeah.
And so right when she thought she had escaped, she didn't. And then she got arm barred. Yeah. And the funny thing is, as I'm watching her tap, I'm like, where's the ref?
Yeah.
Because you could see her desperately trying to tap.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh man, it's too late. Your arm is broken. I don't know if her arm did break, but when you saw the slow replay, I'm like, it's kind of bending pretty far, so I don't know. And she didn't have the guy raise her arm whatsoever. She kept it close to her, so there was definitely damage done there on that.
Yeah. Oh, she was favoring it badly. She looked like it was in a lot of pain, and she was not moving it. She was very deliberate in keeping it tight to her side. She was in a lot of pain, and hopefully it's not broken. Hopefully, she can recover. She did make an announcement today that she's dropping down to the 115-pound strawweight division. She's decided that's her next move, and we'll see if that's the right call for her. But that was an announcement today.
Well, maybe she feels that she'd just be stronger at that lower weight division. Obviously, it might be a lot harder for her to get down to because she's going to have to pay more attention to her diet. She's going to have to drain out more water, and then once she gets down there, she might realize I can actually keep this up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll
so
see health
we'll see.
wise, and we'll see. Yeah. Jason Herzog wasn't in the ideal position there.
No, he
Came
wasn't.
in too late. And, I really like Herzog and I think he does a great job. But sometimes you just end up being on the wrong side of things.
I
And
think.
you were right. They were in this position, then they were in this position, then they were in that position. And he suddenly ended up on the wrong side. But yeah, those arm bars aren't no joke. 10 out of her 11 wins have been by armbar. That's incredible. We used to see that with Ronda Rousey back in the day, but 10 out of 11 wins by armbar. It's just unreal that, everyone knows that what she's going to do, but they can't seem to stop it when she wins.
Yeah, no, she's got I guess she's got a lot of Ronda Rousey in her
Yeah.
because you always knew what was going to happen. It was just up to you to stop it from happening.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
could
I'm blown away when somebody's that much of a specialist, and most people just do not know how to figure out how to stop it on her. And she had come in, she had lost 4 out of 5. So you're thinking, okay, this is a smart move for Molly, finding a
yeah,
girl that's really not on a good streak, and she should be able to just stay away from arm bars and take this. And no, was not able to, and takes the loss. We'll see Molly. I would say in a few months. She's probably going to be off for about 4 or 5 months, and then we'll see her maybe late at the end of the year or next year in the strawweight division. See what that does for her career. The featherweight fight between Nathaniel Wood and Andre Touchy-Feely. Great battle. Wow, I love seeing these guys fight. Was really impressed. Feely's just so much taller, and was trying to utilize that length advantage, but he gave Wood an amazing shot in the second round. Almost took him out. Both guys were almost taken out a few times during
yeah,
this fight, and it was a really, really impressive fight.
yeah, because I believe Wood dropped Feely with a huge right in the first round, and then I think Feely dropped Wood in the second round, and then Wood dropped Feely again in the second round as well.
Yeah.
And then the third round, they were actually cautious.
Yeah. Yeah.
They actually kind of held up on each other. I love this fight. I love this fight because it was like your classic. Because Feely was the bigger fighter,
Yeah.
so like physically bigger, possibly stronger, but Wood was the faster fighter. He was much quicker with his strikes and stuff. It was a fantastic fight. I gave Wood just the slightest, the subtlest of edges in the stand up, and that was what won him the fight. Like it was close, man. Like the entirety of the fight was close. It was such a back and forth affair. The one thing I was surprised at that it was actually a unanimous decision. I thought it would have been a split decision. That was the thing I was surprised at in this fight.
Yeah, it was really a very back and forth fight, and yeah, it was. Yeah, I agree. It was as close as you can get. Both guys in a lot of trouble, but Wood
Yeah.
Wood just I thought took control in that third round and was able to secure it. He dropped him with a knee that seemed to in turn the tides a little bit in his favor in that third round. He's on a 3-fight winning streak and looking great doing so, fighting tough competition like Feely. Good to see our Canadian Mike Malott in the corner. They're both from Team Alpha Male. Malott said that was his only commitment to the UFC, in the fight game. Now he plans to take a few months off because he's been on, so many training camps lately. And then he said, I'm going to come back and you're going to see me really soon. So nice to see him support his teammate. And unfortunately, Feely took the loss, but didn't take too much of a step back because he looked really good. And this was as tough and close of a battle as you're ever going to see.
Exactly, right? Like he doesn't lose much with this loss because they were pretty equal in quality, both fighters, right? So and anybody could have won this fight. It just happened to be Wood this time.
Another really good fight on the card was the middleweight battle between Paul Craig and Andre Muniz. These two guys are both submission specialists, and I was excited. I was really shocked when I heard Paul Craig was moving down from the light heavyweight division to take on a ranked guy in the middleweight division. And I didn't see Paul Craig as ever being, able to make that middleweight, but he was able to drop down. One of the most intense stare downs I've ever seen before a fight. They came to the middle and were just nose to nose and growling at each other. It was really cool. It amped me up for this battle. And Muniz had a really good first round, looked pretty dominant at times. And then Paul Craig did the type of stuff that he's really known for. And holy crap, he ended up getting this victory, getting some massive elbows to finally force Dan Mobahedi to finish this off. And this was another one of those fights that I'm going to remember for a long time, and I really enjoyed it.
No, it was a great fight. Great fight by two ground specialists that didn't obviously start on the ground right away. Because they stood up, they had their stand up in the first round, and then in the second round, Craig was like, eventually we're gonna have to go to the ground here. So, and then once he did, I believe he almost got a Darce choke.
Yes,
but that didn't get through. And then he decided, you know what? Screw the chokes and the subs. I'm just gonna elbow you into oblivion.
Yeah,
and that's exactly what he did.
Yeah.
And he got the win. So that's the problem with Paul Craig. You go down in the mat, either he's going to take one of your limbs home as a trophy, or he's going to elbow your head into oblivion. It's like one or the other.
Yeah.
But that guy, like when you go to the mat with him, I've always felt with Paul Craig, I think your best chance of beating him is on the feet. Just don't even bother going to the mat. Don't even try going there.
I wouldn't bother, but. Yeah, Muniz ended up going for a triangle choke. He went for an arm bar. He right. Was trying for submissions like he's known for, but once Craig was able to get some dominant position, and like you said, he went for the Darce. Couldn't quite get to the side he needed to. Thought, okay, I'm just gonna rain down some elbows, and boom, that was it. I was really surprised. He was on a huge heater. He won. He had beat 4 guys in a row. Shogun, Jamal Hill, Krylov. Then he came upon Volkan Ozdemir, lost a decision. Then he got knocked out by Johnny Walker, and then okay, that was it. I'm moving down in weight. That was really surprising to me, but he still looked great. And I'm interested to see where he goes from here. If he stays down there, he's ranked number 9 as a middleweight. Muniz was 14. Craig was number 9 as a light heavyweight. Now he's number 14 as a middleweight. So I'm interested to see who they will start matching him up with now.
Yeah, I'm interested to see that too. But again, I'm like you. I was kind of surprised that he was still able to make the weight, because he was pretty lean as a light heavyweight anyways, right? So I'm looking at him going, where did the other 20 pounds, how did you lose that? Like, where did it come from, right?
Yeah.
But he still looked really good. Like, he didn't look, like, overly gaunt.
No, not at all. Yeah. No, I thought it was great. Yeah, really surprising. Okay, Jai Herbert, Fares, the Smile Killer, Zayam. Tell me about your thoughts about this fight.
Well, first off, they both had like pretty much like the same the physical makeup. Like it looked like they were looking in a mirror as they were trying to punch each other in the face, which I found that was amazing. Again, I thought this was a very, very close fight. A lot of the fight happened along the fence because it's almost as if they just kind of fell into a grappling match along the fence a lot of this fight.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I believe Zayam had the advantage when it came to distance with the strikes. He had just a slight advantage with the striking. Whenever they were in close, Zayam had great knees. I just thought he got the better of Herbert within the exchanges.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, most of the fight seemed to just take place in a grappling, up against the cage, clinch work and stuff. And So yeah, we'll have to. Yeah, I didn't love it. It wasn't the super most exciting fight, but
No.
yeah, it was a grind out battle. Something's seriously wrong with Zayem's foot. I think he broke his foot pretty severely, so he's going to be off for a while. Yeah, there was some. I saw some footage of it, and it looks like it's very, very badly broken. So
Yeah.
it'll take a long time to recover. Got to see another English fighter, Lerone Murphy from Manchester, keep his undefeated record intact. Got a decision win over Josh Kulabau. I'm impressed with Murphy. I like what he brings. This was, this was a good victory for him. Decision, but I wish he would have made the finish. But I thought he was dominant in the fight.
Yeah, he almost had it. Again with a Darce choke attempt at the end in round 3, almost locked that up, but didn't get that quite locked in. Kulabau did well in the stand up, but where he definitely lost the fight was within the grappling exchanges.
Yeah.
Murphy was the stronger grappler throughout the entirety of the fight, and that was just the one thing that Kulabau couldn't match him in this fight. Was
Yeah.
the grappling exchange.
Yeah, Murphy was able to get the back quite easily once he got a takedown, was able to get the hooks in and had control. And there was definitely a level of experience, it looked like to me, for Murphy being a better grappler. When that fight got to the ground, it was Murphy's for sure. Okay, talk about the fight that kicked off the main card. Daniel Marcos gets a decision victory over Davy Grant.
Yeah, I thought Marcos had great counters. Great counters. You know what? Let me start again. I actually thought Grant won this fight.
Okay.
I actually thought Grant won this fight because I thought Grant was the more assertive person trying to go forward in round 3.
Yep.
Because like he was actively trying to hunt down Marcos. The one thing that I found that was interesting was Marcos, incredibly patient fighter, didn't waste striking opportunities, was incredibly efficient, but at the same time didn't throw a ton either.
Right.
Didn't throw a ton,
Yeah.
but he was very, very hard to find. Like I thought Grant was struggling to try to find this guy to hit him.
Sure.
And that's just the way that this fight went. Like it wasn't the fact that both guys weren't trying to fight each other. They were doing that, but just missing like a lot, and especially in Grant's case, because I thought that Marcos was just incredibly elusive and hard to hit, and then that Marcos was very good at doing countering. He's very good at countering Grant whenever he came in.
I had Grant winning as well. I had it 2-1 for Grant, 29-28 on my scorecard. So yeah, it was disappointing that the judges didn't see it that same way, but that's the way it goes if you take it to the judges' scorecards, which I don't like. I don't like decisions. There's some that I can handle, but most of the time, just get the finish. Don't leave it into those 3 idiots' hands, because they're gonna mess it up way more than they're gonna get it right.
Yeah, exactly. Because we've seen them mess up more times than we can ever count.
Yeah.
And when they get it right.
The fight of the night was Danny Roberts, Johnny Parsons, which was the feature fight on the prelims. This was a great battle, really good. Very unpopular, obviously, in the crowd, and especially after he called out Paddy Pimblett when he won. They pretty much booed him heavily until he left the arena. Parsons they both got 50K for this. And for Parsons' debut, pretty impressed. Hate his mullet, but like his fighting style.
Yeah, that mullet was interesting, but I love this fight. I love this fight because it's like both of these guys were willing to stand up and go to war. Parsons had a great kicking game, and also too he was very good at cutting off the octagon. Yeah. Like he wasn't really following Roberts. He was cutting off the octagon, constantly going forward. had great elbow strikes off of the break, like when they come into the clinch, and then once they tried to separate, he had great elbow strikes off of that.
Yeah.
And then he won by TKO. Now, do you think actually this is what I wanted to get to? Was it too early of a referee stoppage in this fight?
Yeah. Yeah. I would have let it play out for
Me
sure.
too.
Yeah.
That's the one thing.
Yeah.
I know he was close to stopping it,
Yeah.
but I would have let it go. I would have let it go, man. It's
Yeah,
2 seconds left.
it says 4:57 on the timer. It was like 4:59, I thought.
Nine. Yeah.
And
Nine.
I would have let it go another round. That would have been my preference. This is Jason Herzog again. We're talking about him for the second time on this
Yeah.
podcast, and I thought he shouldn't have stopped it there. I think Roberts was rocked. He was in trouble a little bit, but I don't think to the point where he couldn't continue.
Yeah, and so that's why I give Roberts, like, I think he was kind of right in the fact that he was talking to Herzog saying you shouldn't have stopped the fight.
Yeah.
Like I'm giving Roberts that because
Yeah.
I wouldn't have stopped the fight myself. It's 2-3 seconds, man. Because like if 2-3 seconds, so you stop the fight, fight's over. But he can go back to his corner, possibly recover. Because if he can't recover, then the fight's going to be over anyways in the third round, right?
Yeah.
But if he can recover, then he still has a chance to win the fight.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I would be taking that away.
No, I wouldn't have. I definitely wouldn't have. No, he deserved a third round. He fought a great fight. There was a slobber knocker. I wrote down slobber knocker, and then somebody put it on the Twitter feed on the corner about 30 seconds later. I'm like, hey, you took my words right out of my mouth. That was my words. This was, and I love Parsons' nickname. It's the Slugger Knot, and so it's a slobber knocker from the Slugger Knot. And this was one of those fights that I loved. I'll never forget also the delayed reaction on the one knockdown that Roberts had.
Yeah, that
He
was
gets
weird.
struck and then he's standing there, and all of a sudden he just goes down, and everybody's like, "Hey, where'd that come from?" But it was just a delayed reaction because he had been hit on the temple, and
Yeah,
he was standing there for a couple seconds before it really hit him.
yeah. No, I remember seeing that and going, "Wait, what did he get hit with?" Because I'm like, maybe I thought I missed something because I'm like, oh, he just kind of went, and it just fell over, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, that was super weird.
That
No,
was totally weird. Yeah. Super funny. But yeah, as I said, Parsons should have probably not called out Pimblett in front of his UK crowd. Pimblett was cage side, and he got booed mightily. He was definitely the most hated guy on the entire night. And it didn't it went over like a lead balloon for sure. It was pretty bad call out. Okay, Joel Alvarez ended up getting a late submission win in the second round over Mark Jacasey. Let's see, what did I write? Oh, the thing that I wrote about this was there was a clash of heads,
Yeah,
and it wasn't noticed by Dan Mulcahy. Jacasey had sort of tried to make note of it by saying, "Hey, man, we just rocked heads. I'm rocked here. Hey, give me a chance." And Mulcahy didn't see it.
yeah,
Unfortunately, it led to the beginning of the end to the fight. A choke was sank in, a head and arm choke, and got the win. This is where the UFC is dropping the ball at times, where they should be able to go to a replay and say, "Oh, okay, let's let this guy recover, see if he can recover 5 minutes, and start this again." This shouldn't have, been the result, because we should be able to go to replay and say, "Hey, that's not fair. Let's give him some time to recover. If he can, we'll start the fight again."
yeah, yeah. Because I agree with you 100% because Diakese was doing great up until that point. They both were,
Yeah.
but I don't think Alvarez should have got the win because there was the headbutt. If anything, this fight should have been a no contest.
Yeah. Yeah.
I definitely felt that, and I was like, I don't know, because at the end of the fight too, apparently, like the judges and like the regulators were coming together to figure out exactly what they should do. So
Yeah.
at least there was discussion,
Yeah.
but I didn't like that the discussion actually didn't go anywhere. Like it is
Yeah.
just
Yeah. That
basically
was
no,
weird.
that's the result and whatever. So
Unfortunately, I have to call it Jason Herzog one more time, third time on this card, because he was the replay official for
sure, yes.
this. And, once they had a discussion, once he came into the mix, I don't know how he couldn't see it either being a no contest or the possibility of I don't know. I don't know if the rules allow to restart it after something like that, but, I think Casey has all the right to appeal this and maybe
Yeah.
have it a no contest, so it's not a loss on his record. But yeah, it just left a bad taste in my mouth that this shouldn't have went this way, and ended up producing the result of a loss for Casey, who was doing great until boom, he got headbutted. It didn't look intentional, but it still really rocked him.
No, exactly. No, like he was super affected by it, right? You could tell. Like he was not the same fighter after that happened.
No.
And Alvarez took advantage of that as he should and got the finish. But at the same time, no, it shouldn't have ended that way. He shouldn't have got the win. Should have been a no contest.
Yeah.
That's it.
There was a few headbutts in this
Yeah.
on this card. Really bad one. It happened twice actually between Brian Barberino and Mahmoud Muradov.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
there was a few headbutts in the fight. Somebody got a point taken away immediately. I'm trying to remember who that was, but yeah, the headbutts had reared their ugly head, as they say, and it wasn't good. But I do want to mention Mick Parkin getting a win in his UFC debut, 7-0. Really nice performance. He is a training partner of Tom Aspinall, and I think Aspinall has the ability to raise this guy to a high level. Nice to see a performance against a tough guy in Jamal Pogues. Nice debut, and yeah, look out for this Mick Parkin. I think he's going to be pretty good.
Yep. Great technical striking, great boxing, great distance management. Yeah, he did a lot of things very, very well. And you could tell that he's fighting with an upper echelon heavyweight in Tom Aspinall because he looked fantastic. He looked
Yeah,
really good,
I
very
loved
sharp.
I loved his movement. I loved his defense. I thought even was able to um, get some really good calf kicks that just
Yeah.
were taking the strength from Pogues away, and to get a 15 rounds in your US or 15 minutes, 3 rounds in your UFC debut. I thought it was good for him, and he was able to really show me a lot, show probably the UFC a lot that yeah, this guy's a good prospect. And when you're battling a guy like Aspinall every day in the gym, it's only going to make you better.
Yeah, definitely. It's only going to make you better. And it made him very much prepared for this fight because Pogues was actually very good. He was actually a very, very good fighter.
Um, okay. Brian Barberine is a gamer, in for big fights all the time. That's why he's called Bam Bam. He's been in tons of wars and he's always there. But I thought Mahmoud was better. Two really bad headbutts in this one, and man, I hated seeing that happen, but Muradov was yeah, to me he was the better fighter and showed it in many ways.
Yeah, yeah. He got the better in his combination of strikes. Definitely got the better of him in the grappling exchanges. Like Barbarina was able to get up a lot of times, pop back up,
Yeah,
but Muradov drug him back down to the mat
yeah,
many, many times,
yeah,
over and over again. So that's where I thought he won the fight. Yeah, the headbutts were pretty bad, but at least they gave them time to recover
yeah.
in this particular fight. So that was at least that was the good thing. But definitely Muradov, great win on his part, great grappling. That's what won the fight.
Yeah. Women's bantamweight fight. Caitlin Vieira gets a nice decision win. She's number 4. will definitely be fighting, some of the top fighters in that division soon. She was getting some good takedowns, going for submissions. I thought she was uh, very dominant in two of the rounds and deserved this victory for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Again, dominated the grappling, went for the Kimura submission too numerous times throughout this course of this fight. Uh, Kianzad definitely needs to work on her grappling skills. I think a lot of it, though, Vieira was literally imposed her will. She was the stronger fighter and was able to just keep her down in the mat whenever she went down to the mat. So.
After Mayra Buenasilva won last week, we started talking about her being the next up after Juliana Pena, Rocky Pennington fight for the belt. I think Vieira has all the right to call this out as she's the next because they actually rank her number 3 now ahead of Silva. And so, yeah, that might be next. We had sort of already given Silva that next fight, but I think Caitlin sort of with this, moves into that mix and has even maybe more of a right to ask for that title shot next.
Yeah, or they could do it like the Pennington versus Pena, and then Vieira versus Bueno Silva, and then
the
winners of both those.
Yeah, yeah, good call. Okay, we've got to fly through the rest, but any other guys that you want to make special mention of?
The first fight. The first fight I just wanted to say for Filo versus Perez. Great finish by Filo with the arm triangle finish. Perez did look good on his feet up until he got taken down. And then all of a sudden I saw this. Oh, he doesn't know how to grapple. He doesn't have that part of his game yet. So
yeah.
That's clearly something that Perez is going to have to work on and figure out because once he went down to the mat, because him on his feet looked fantastic.
Yeah.
Went down to the mat, had nothing.
That's true. Nothing. Yeah. Well, I saw Mark Goddard almost stop it in the first round. He had landed some really crazy body shots to Filio and dropped him. Goddard came couple climbs close, getting in there looking, should I stop it? No, I'm not gonna. And then he was able to stand back up. And then once it got to the ground and he got control, unfortunately, Perez doesn't have that game. Great comeback win though, man. I thought Filio was out of this fight and wasn't going to be able to take the victory, but he came back and did, and it was a nice way to kick off the card. He's got a great team too. Jacare Souza is one of his main grappling partners, and I think that's only going to help him a ton. I do want to mention Shauna Bannon came in undefeated. A lot of hype about her. She's got an incredible kickboxing career in her rearview mirror, and she came in with a ton of hype. She is a world champion, a kickboxer, but unfortunately took the loss in her debut. She wasn't able to handle the takedowns of Brazil, and usually a Brazilian named Brazil is going to be great at grappling, and you got to learn that game if you want to go forward. And Bannon didn't, so back to the drawing board. I'm sure she'll come out even stronger next time.
Yeah, she'll come out better next time, but Brazil definitely got the better of her in this one, especially with the grappling aspect.
Okay, let's I did want to mention the toughness of Yanel Ashmouz, the Israeli fighter against Chris Duncan. Ashmouz blocked a kick early on, broke his arm, knew it right away, couldn't throw it for the rest of the fight, but lasted the whole 15 minutes. Only had one arm, but still lasted that whole entire fight. Knew he broke it, but he wasn't giving up and tried to get it out. Took the loss, but man, another example of toughness there.
Yeah. No, he exemplified toughness. A lot of other people just would have taken the easy way out and just all right, I'm just gonna take strikes and just call it a day. I did like the fact that Ashmouz got pissed with his corner and said, "I can't even. What do you want me to do? You want me to throw combinations? I can't even move this arm." I
Yeah.
thought
I lost your audio.
better.
Yes, there you go.
Okay, no, I figured out how to quickly figure that out. But anyways, so yeah, like I get it why he was so incredibly frustrated with his own like corner because he's just like, oh man, arm's broken, can't use it. All
And
right,
yeah.
it's not gonna work. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that was crazy that they were they
argue.
were trying to get him to do it, and he's like he got a little pissed off with him, didn't he?
Oh no, he got super pissed, and I understand why because he's like, listen, how many of you guys have fought with a broken arm? Yeah, really hard. Okay, so let's come up with a different game plan than whatever you're saying. That's
Yeah,
not. It's not gonna work.
yeah, crazy. Okay, let's quickly preview the UFC 291. Great card. Um, Unfortunately, it's in stinking Utah, and it is up against the Spence Crawford fight. So not as excited about it as I used to be. And unfortunately, we did lose the fight between Paulo Costa and Ikram Aliskerov. Unfortunately, they've canceled that altogether. Costa's now going to face Khamzat Chimaev in UFC 294 in October. So that was announced. Eliskerov is now fighting Nasruddin Imavov. So unfortunately, that fight came off the books, but there's still a lot of great fights. Obviously, the BMF belt main event between Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje. The 2018 battle that they had was one of my favorite fights of all time. I don't see this one disappointing at all.
I don't see it disappointing at all. The only thing I see as a difference between these two fighters this time around, I think they're going to be a little bit more cautious.
Yeah.
Before they throw caution to the wind.
Right.
I think if they do decide to throw caution to the wind, that'll be in the fourth or fifth round.
Right.
First 1, 2, and 3 rounds, they're going to be cautious because they both know it's like, okay, you can hurt me, I can hurt you. That's documented. We know this.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to take their time with this one.
Gaethje has been a lot smarter than his early days. He used to just, take as many as he would land and really not, care about getting hit. His corner and his people and probably his family has said, all right, you can use defense. You can avoid getting hit. You can avoid shots. So he's fighting smarter. And yeah, you're right. I think that's the way it's going to go. But I look forward, if it goes 4 or 5 rounds, to some super amazing war in the later rounds.
Yeah. I agree with you on that. I look forward to this fight. And if anybody's going to fight for that belt, that particular belt, yeah, these two are very much worthy of that belt.
Yeah. And the co-main event should be really great. We've got the former light heavyweight champion Jan Blachowicz welcoming the newcomer to the division, Alex Pereira. This should be a really good 205-pound matchup. We saw what Blachowicz did to Adesanya when he tried to come up. It'll be interesting to see what he can do and handle Alex Pereira.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he actually decides to stand up a little bit with them, or he just goes, you know what, I'm not even going to bother with that. Just take it down right away.
Yeah.
And I could see him doing that because that's the path of least resistance.
Yep.
And I'm very curious to see how Pereira's power translates to the heavier divisions too as well.
Yeah. Really looking forward to the other Pereira, Michelle Pereira, facing Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. These two guys are dynamic strikers, really good at distance. We've got the karate guy against the capoeira guy. Should be really cool. Should be an amazing battle.
Yeah, should be a great battle. I think Wonder Boy is definitely like, no, I want you to do the fancy kick so I can counter you. So yeah, no, do all of that. Do all of that. Because I'm very sure that Thompson's ready to counter whatever sort of crazy thing he's gonna do.
Yeah.
He's got something for him.
Ferguson, Bobby Green could be the BMF title as well. These guys are
Yeah.
great and they bring it.
Yeah, they bring it. Love Bobby Green, love Tony Ferguson. This is going to be an extremely entertaining fight because they're going to make it an extremely entertaining fight.
And then Michael Chiesa, Kevin Holland. Love Holland. Hope he steps out and has a great fight. I'm looking forward to the heavyweight battle between Derek Lewis and Marcos Rogerio de Lima. And yeah, a ton of great fights on this card. It's going to be fun.
It's gonna be great fights, man. I don't know. It'd be great if I could watch both of them, the UFC and the boxing, at the same time, but you can't. You got to pick one. So yeah, I'll end up watching. Well, obviously, both of us end up watching this at some other time. But yeah, I'm still very excited about the boxing. Sorry, UFC. Still very excited.
I actually think we could pull it off. We could probably watch both at the same time. So maybe we'll figure it out. I'll come up with a game plan. We'll watch.
Okay.
We'll have the main attention focused obviously on main event in the
Yeah.
boxing. I don't even know much about the card leading up to the main event in the boxing. So
Right.
well let's see if we can pull it off and we'll have both of them at the same time.
I love your greedy nature. So yes, let's do it. Let's see if we can figure it out. I love it.
One final note: Charles Oliveira is now fighting Islam Makhachev for the belt. Oliveira had a great showing here in Vancouver and is now getting to fight for the belt against who many consider the #1 pound for pound guy in the world, in Islam Makhachev. I'm actually very excited about this fight.
I'm pretty pumped, man, because like now that he's had experience and he knows what he needs to work on to defeat this guy, right? Yeah. So I'm curious to see what his new game plan will be for Islam Makhachev, because he's not going to come out the same way as he did the first time. It's going to be completely different.
Totally, yeah, totally. I did forget to mention that Paul Craig called out Bo Nickel after his fight. Well, that'll be fun. Hopefully they make that happen. I don't know if the UFC wants to do that to a prospect. So young, maybe we'll risk it getting his arm broke or something. But yeah, that would be kind of cool if they make it happen. Anyway,
that would be kind of cool, but I can also see them saying no. No, we're not going to make that fight. No. You're not going to get that guy yet. No.
Yeah.
We're going to get, he's got to have a couple more fights, Paul. Sorry. He's off limits. You can't touch him yet. You can't touch him.
The war of words between Paulo Costa and Khamzat Chimaev have already started, and Khamzat has vowed to make him cry. And he said, this guy couldn't even hold a candle to me. The guy's not even Brazilian. He's fake. And I don't know what Costa's going to throw back at him, but it's already heating up only a day or two into making this announcement.
So I like the fact that this is where the sort of fighters are going now. Like, it's like, no, I'm the real African here. It's like, no, you're not even Brazilian. It's like, pretty sure I was born there, so I think I am. Like it's funny. It's funny to me, but it garners attention. Cool stuff. I think this definitely, that fight between Chimaev and Costa will come down to, can Costa stay upright?
Yeah.
Can he fight off his takedown attempts? Because like, if he can't fight off that guy's takedown attempts, he's gonna have a long night.
Yeah, no kidding. Big trouble. Okay, man. Well, that was awesome. Fun as always. I guess I do want to mention at the end, what did you think about this running back meeting, NFL running back meeting that they had over the weekend? They're all concerned. They're all crying collusion, and they don't know what to do as their salaries keep getting depressed and down and down and down, and they become less relevant in this game. They're not sure what to do about it. It's become so concerning that almost every running back, the top running back I've got listed here, all got together to figure this out. Do you think there's any way they can figure this out and change the direction that it's been going in?
It's weird, right? Because and I get it from the owner's perspective, which is somehow it's worked in a way where they can get the most out of these running backs out of their prime years when they first enter, and then discard them. Literally just discard them. It's like, man, we got all your best years already, your 4 or 5 years, and now you're get out of here. We don't need you anymore. We're just gonna get another new young guy that can just do that thing again. Like, I don't know what the answer is. I think one of the ways that they can combat it is they got to change the CBA, so that running backs you can't give them the franchise tag for 2 years in a row, because that's what they will do. They'll just franchise tag you. Okay, so you got like your contract for 3 years, franchise tag you for 2 more years, and then send you on your way. Right. I think what they should do with the CBA now, and especially in regards to running back, maybe they say you can't franchise tag running backs anymore.
Wow, that might be amazing. Yeah.
Like think of that. Like, if now you're not allowed to franchise tag them, then you're going to have to pay them.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So that's what I was thinking. Like, just take the franchise tag away from that position, because that position seems to be the one that they're being able to take advantage of. So just not be able to franchise tag them. I think
that would be nice if they can change that wording and stuff. And guys like McCaffrey, who is so good at catching balls out of the backfield, he said maybe we get rid of the label of a running back. It's just more of an offensive player, because you're a receiver and you're a running back. Guys like Nick Chubb said, this is brutal. Like, they use me like a crazy amount and I get about 2,000 yards, and then they say, oh, he's worn down. We got to move on and get somebody else to handle the workload. And he's like, what am I supposed to do? Refuse, as much touches and try to, break that 2,000-yard barrier? Do I want to suppress it so that they think, okay, he's still got a year or two left, we'll keep him around? I get 2,000 yards and suddenly, don't want to keep that guy, don't want to touch that guy, see you later. And there's just so many negative things that are coming at running backs year after year, and it's crazy. They're getting paid $3 million less than they were 5-6 years ago on a franchise tag, which is not the way that any other of the salaries are going in the NFL. We've seen in that span, we've seen the quarterback franchise tag almost double in size. And it's really weird. I'm amazed at how many of the top guys got together to have this and try to figure it out, because there might be some collusion there that we've seen. We saw Saquon Barkley have a bounce back year last year and just not even be able to get a sniff from anybody, not get a franchise extension. He's on a $10 million salary. Guys like Josh Jacobs, same deal. Derrick Henry's pissed off. Austin Eckler was the guy that organized this, because he said he just wasn't getting anything, resembling offers from anybody. He was only able to get a new contract that was almost all incentive laden, where he can make more money, but it has to be, on a certain amount of carries, yardage, catches, all this kind of thing. Yeah, it's kind of crisis mode for running backs in the NFL right now, and that's a good way of going about it. What you suggest, hopefully they can find some common ground to, not make their positions sort of irrelevant in the salary cap structure, and they might start losing a lot of young guys wanting to get into the NFL, realizing that their salaries are very limited and their careers are very, very short.
Well, I think that's exactly what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. It's like, I think that's what the owners are going to push some of these players to do, which is, I'm, I'd be a hell of a running back, but since if I get to the highest level and I'm not going to be compensated or get paid, get it. I'll just be a safety,
Yeah.
or I'm just going to be a wide receiver. So then, what's definitely going to happen if they keep going along this route, this path, is that you're just not going to get the athletes to be running backs anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. I
It's
can
not
see it. Yeah.
just
It
not going to get those guys anymore.
becomes
So
tougher and tougher. There was a story over the weekend that didn't help the running backs' cause. Naheem Hines was out on a jet ski and somehow got hit by another jet ski that blew out his knee severely, missing the entire season, has to undergo surgery this week and put on the shelf. Just having a little fun on a lake. Not great, not a good move, and really kind of screws Buffalo right, as they're trying to secure all the pieces around him. He goes out and gets hurt like this. Yeah, not a good look.
no, no, and usually don't they have like stuff written in their contract like you can't do things that could be detrimental to your health like that?
No.
It's like because it's just kind of like, oh no, dude, next time just go on an inner tube.
Just yeah, be safe. Yeah, just be safe. Yeah, forget the jet ski. You could wait another couple, 2, 3 years from now and get on a jet ski. I don't think you're addicted to jet skis, so stay away. Yeah.
Exactly. Like I did see that. I saw that, and I'm just like, oh man, I get being young and just having fun, but like at the same time, you do have a responsibility because
Yeah.
of the amount of money you're being compensated for to not do those things. It's like that's fun, right? You're not allowed to.
No, don't do that. Yeah. Yeah, I think his agent, manager, family, teammates, everybody was like, "Oh, what are you thinking? What are you doing?" And
Yeah,
that's why they do put those kind of clauses in those contracts.
yeah, exactly. So they're trying to protect you and protect themselves, but also to protect your well being.
Yeah. Okay, well, hey man, this was a great podcast as always. Looking forward to seeing you over the weekend. Let's watch UFC, watch some amazing boxing. Spence Crawford. Uh, years we've been waiting for this for years. It's finally happening.
Yeah,
Fingers crossed they don't get on a jet ski, they don't get in a Ferrari, they don't do anything to derail this week, and they finally get to meet inside the ring.
yeah. I would assume that they will because the payday that they're both going to get is probably going to be significant.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it, and I can't wait to watch it with.
Yeah. Bubble wrap. Just bubble wrap for the two guys. Just let them walk around in bubble wrap all week. Don't,
You.
just don't let them do anything. Nothing to just derail this. Oh, man, it would be just heartbreaking if we hear sometime this week or one of the guys gets hurt.
Yeah, yeah. No, that would be utterly heartbreaking. So we won't mention that. But this is what we will say. Looking forward to a great fight.
No.
Guys have been training hard. Awesome.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see it. Can't wait to see it.
Okay, man. Enjoy your rest of your evening, and we'll talk through the week.
All right. Sounds good, man. Cheers.
All right. Cheers. Take care. Bye for now. Okay, another edition of Complete Sports Media's podcast has come to an end. Appreciate it so much. To Jason, to everyone behind the scenes, thanks to our incredible team for putting us together, doing all the social media stuff. Yeah, it's just things are going gangbusters around here. And yeah, we're going to have a great week ahead, trying to secure some more podcasts for you. And yeah, lots of great sports to watch as always. So love you guys lots. Take care of yourself. Thank you very much. Thank you to our partners and sponsors as always. Anchor.fm, the easiest place to make a podcast. I want to thank Verbera, the hockey equipment and apparel company, Pampas and Possibilities, and Forever Living. Amazing products on our website. You can get them at discounted rates if you need to. So love you. Take care of yourself. Have a great week ahead, and we will talk to you soon. Bye for now.